Welcome, everyone, to the Indie Experience podcast. And tonight we got a special guest. We got indie rock artist Yuzima Phillip here, and he's going to talk a lot about his new project called Eight. It's an 8-second song, y'all. But you know how we do on this show? We do the playlist, and we got 6 songs by Yuzima tonight that I hope y'all enjoy. Yuzima, say what's up to the people.
Hey all, how's it going? Noise Brigade, Noise Brigade in the house. What's going on?
And we're gonna get into this first song in the playlist, y'all. Normally we take a commercial break, but we're gonna skip the commercial break, get right into the playlist, cause he got a song called Street Racer One. Tell the people a little bit about the song, and then we'll get into it.
So, with Street Racer One, I wrote it. You know what? I think I wrote Street Racer One last November, and it was after what's his name? Luigi, the guy who the CEO killer
Oh
guy.
yeah, okay,
Yeah. So I actually that inspired me, and I was like, okay. And I knew what happened with the election, and I saw what was coming. And so that fed into the lyric writing of that song. So if you hear like what is it? We enter the blaze, into the night, into the fight, all of those lyrics and what's um um green green gasoline, lightning and gray, slightly upset. Like I play into all of the imagery of the wildness that is going on right now in the country, but I saw it coming. So yeah, and so like actually I use what is synthesizers, and with the whole street corner creep, I wanted to go into my noise rock bag, because as an artist I call myself a noise rock artist, you know even though I weave in funk, soul, but mostly rock, um, and industrial. So I really, with
yeah.
this album, wanted to dig into the noise, my vision of noise. And since this is the time we're living in, where we're sort of going through austere, like harsh, and an austere and harsh reality, then that noise was really what I thought would represent what's happening. And so even on like Street Corner Creep or Street Racer One, they're all giving you that element of noise but musicality.
So let's get into Street Racer One.
All right.
No, it did not play commercial.
We got doors.
All right, everyone.
All right.
That was Street Racer 1 by Yuzima Philip. So, you know, the playlist, since
Hmm.
I know I tried to explain it to you. So, we play the songs straight through, and then I usually tell them about the artist. But since the artist is here, I don't have to do that. So, what was what was your idea on Street Corner Creep?
So, Street Corner Creep, you know what? It came from, like, it didn't start out as an album. It came from a thing where I was noticing people who would go to Trump rallies and how sort of weird they look and how they look like creeps. They look like creeps. And so, like with glasses and a hat like this, and like they were kind of on the lamb from the Lord kind of thing. And so I started doing like these pictures like around town. And when I would post the pictures, I would post Street Corner Creek kind of like as a hashtag. And then when I was thinking of an album, and I would put I would use that for the hashtags just for my pictures. But then when I was thinking of an album, I was like, wait, I should take that and turn it into a whole album, and then I can make it about what's going on in the world now. So that's where Street Corner Creep came from, and then I had to do a song for it, and so I built a song around the concept, and I did it right after the election. So it's kind of like Street Corner Creep is the good guy me, but it's also the bad guy them. So, the album plays on that, like Intelligent King, that's the good guy, but then, Street Corner Creep is the bad guy. So I'm playing with those concepts throughout the album.
So, what instruments are you using to make these songs?
So on Street Corner Creep, that is electro beat kind of thing. And it's a noise. Like when I produce noise as an artist, that's what it sounds like. I've done songs like that before. Like I had a song for Hierarchy off of my album, The Machine. I've always played with those industrial style drum sounds. And on Street Corner, and this album, like I said, was meant to be my sort of like noise manifesto, and also political manifesto. So on Street Corner Creek, I think you have that electro style beat. It's actually an industrial kind of electro beat, and then harmonies, the vocal harmonies that you hear throughout it, and I'm just working those two things in as I do on some of. I did that also on what's the name of this? Suicide. I did the same kind of thing where I worked, and even on Street Racer One, those are industrial sounds that I'm piling up on in the background as the backdrop for the vocal. So they meld in well together, but that's essentially what's happening. I'm using a lot of industrial and noise, you know, rhythms and percussion sounds, and building them up so it's a bed of music. You know what I mean?
So, we're going to get into that song, Street Corner Creep by Yuzima Philip. So, everybody enjoy Street Corner Creep.
One and only Street Corner Creek.
Oh, that's a perfect song for Trump.
Exactly. And I'm singing about him in the song, so there's some tea.
Okay, while he's getting this song ready. Can't hear you. We can't
All
hear
right,
you.
y'all, we're getting these off the SoundCloud, and it's giving us the little 30-second commercial every time. So
Oh.
we're going to get rid of that. All right.
So, while we wait for the commercial to finish,
Mhm.
how do you keep your vocals good for your songs?
Oh, like first of all, every week I do vocal, work. You know what I mean? Vocal exercises, this, that, and the other. And then, you know what it is as a singer? Because when I record in my home studio. I'm always very comfortable. And that's the biggest thing as a singer. You have to be really you know, I think Whitney Houston, she had her vocal booth in her house. So that's the hint. Like if you're in some, you know, somebody's studio and you're not comfortable, then it might be harder to really, really, really sing the way you need to sing. For me, that's the most important thing.
It sounded like he was rapping.
What happened?
I said on that song, it sounded like you was rapping.
We're not gonna say that's rapping. I mean, like that's my thing. I mean, I actually, you know, that's a part of the sauce. But like, if I need to, you know, I can pull different things out of the bag if I need to.
So your new music that you drop, you're gonna get the green light.
Hmm.
Where that idea for that song came from.
So okay, so that's the first 8 second. That's the world's first 8 second song. Um, I had a song that was on Jimmy Fallon's show, like what in January, February, March, April, I think March or whatever, and it's a song called Hamburger Ready Made One, and they did a whole skit around it with him, Questlove, Black Thought, and it blew their minds. And you know, I do my music is not just music; it's art too. So when I was thinking about, okay, do I do more ready mades? How do I push it forward? And I was busy um, minding my own business, and all of a sudden it came to mind to me 8 second song because I was thinking about you know how songs like the songs on Street Corner Creep are all like from 4 minutes to 5 minutes long, some of them, and I was you know pretty much going to do some 2.5 minute songs, and I still will, but I was like, you know what? It really is would be something interesting to do an 8 second song. So I had no idea what it would sound like. And I said, well, okay, let me do these eight, let me, let me kind of, I'm inspired. At first I thought it was crazy, but that's how I knew it was something that I should do. That's how I knew, oh, wow, there's something there. And I've done this kind of stuff before, whether it's my 20-minute rock opera, Sound Opera Project 1, from like 2012. So I was like, you know what? Let me flesh this out. And the difference is how do I get a song into 8 seconds? How do I get, something that is alive? So, something that, and also to get people to listen, to get people to get into music differently, to get to experience music differently. So you can imagine, like, if you sing a song, you might hear a chorus and be like, I really like the chorus, or I really like the verse. What if the song was just the verse? What if the song was just and that's what this is. It's a part of it that means something. And if you really like it, you could just play it over and over and over, and just like you would do a regular song, but you're
Mhm.
just playing 8 seconds. Not all of them stopped at 8 seconds, but Green Light is 8 seconds. And so that was, even though I did the other songs before it, I wanted to make sure that the song that was 8 seconds came out first and, kicked down the door. And this is moves into the punk. This is in my punk rock bag.
Yeah, music is subjective, but I would never would have thought you can get an 8 second song. I never would have thought that.
Uh-huh.
And you the first one that I've ever heard say I've done an 8 second song.
Uh-huh. Is
So
it? Uh-huh.
we're gonna get into that song, Green Light, because the world needs to hear that 8 second song.
Eight.
So your new project, cause is it all gonna be 8 second songs or just those two?
I think you missed.
Yeah, play it over and over. It's 8 seconds, so it goes by like that.
Yeah, that's.
So that's like you gotta put it on repeat to really listen to what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It is 8 seconds. So that's the thing. You're gonna, you can miss it,
I,
but
I
eight
gotta
seconds.
jump in here. I love the concept, but that I mean, you just don't understand how quick 8 seconds go. I'm literally playing it, and I have to go back. Oh damn, that was it. Hold on, let me replay it, and then it was. I mean, it's like a thought, and you're trying to get all that thought
Yeah.
into this one little
Yep.
cluster of stuff.
Yep.
Man, that's deep.
Yep.
That's deep.
Yeah. That's why I did it, because it to me that came to my mind, and I was like, what can I do? What can I, and I did it with punk rock partially because a lot of people think that rock is on a decline. So I'm like, how can I do something that's interesting that reinvigorates the genre, that something exciting? You know what I mean? So that's the reason why the first thing I went with was, with the guitars, with the whole punk rock in your face. Like if you were in a club, a punk rock club, that's what you would hear. So yeah. So it's also the experience. So I'm giving you like imagine if you walked into a club for 8 seconds and that's what you heard. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Can I jump in with one more question?
Yeah.
You can ask as many questions as you like.
Oh, okay, because here I am. I'm at a Yuzima concert, and clearly it's a unique experience. I mean, it's this place here called St. Andrew's Hall. I'm
Uh
sure you're
huh.
familiar. It's the place where they did 8 Mile with Eminem.
Okay.
It seemed like if you came here, that's the type of place you would play.
Uh huh.
And it's like, okay, one of my favorite songs obviously would be this 8 second song. And it's like, all right, is he gonna do it? And by the time you tell us, yeah, I'm about to do green, boom, that's the song.
Yep.
And that's it. Are you running it back a couple times? Are you
Yeah.
you
See,
is
that's the
it
thing.
a
I could
remix
do
or
that.
is you actually explaining why it's ace? I mean, what's the concept?
So I could, like, you could, you've seen singers get up on the stage and just do the chorus over and over and over again. So you could just be like, oh, pow, here, do it again, 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 until everybody's like crazy. You know what I mean? So this song was like, what is it? Green light, da 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 da. Green light, let's get crazy for tonight. Green light. So it could just be like pow, 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 pow. So yeah, that's kind of like the experiential kind of like thing about it, where that's what I'm trying to get people to see music, because to me, like a 2 minute song, even 2 minute to 4 minute, 5 minute, yeah, you could do something great with it because I did it on my album, Street Corner Creek. But it's still like everybody's used to it. So people are bored with the music. So you have to do things that are interesting that take people out of the normal, do something different, and further the genre. That's what I think.
Yeah, you sure? But you're gonna have people like, wait a minute, did I miss something? And they gonna keep playing it back. Did I miss something?
You know what? The funny thing
Like,
was,
did I miss something? And they're gonna keep. Then when you think about it, because I love when I love a song, I put it on repeat,
yep,
right? So it's gonna loop and loop and loop. And being that your song is 8 seconds, you hearing the same thing over and over. Some people get tired of hearing the same thing over and over.
yeah, yeah,
But when you think about it, it helps you it helps you with learning the lyrics.
uh huh,
They're short, but it still helps you learn the lyrics. So next time you hear it, even though it's 8 seconds, you would already know the words. Because
yeah,
most of the time, the more you repeat it, the more you get to know the lyrics. But being
yeah.
that this is 8 seconds, you're gonna catch on with the lyrics quick.
Uh-huh. And let me say this to you, like, these are not throwaway songs. Literally, I had to be inspired. Like Green Light, I think came to me while I was sleeping. A lot of stuff comes to me while I'm sleeping. And, so it was like full on inspiration. And a lot of them I went further, like, I chopped it in half because I probably went up to 18 seconds with Green Light, and it was too long. And so I'm like, oh, now I got to shorten
Mhm.
this song and got to figure out what. And the funny thing was, it was longer, but it ended up being better at 8 seconds, because some of the songs are better longer, and so they are a little longer than 8 seconds. So I wasn't going, but with this one, it had to be 8 seconds because it's a series of 8 second songs. So the first one needs to be 8 seconds.
So the next song of yours we're gonna get into is a song you wrote called Cousin Margaret.
Yeah,
And when you told me you wrote that song
yeah,
and who it's dedicated to,
hmm
I said no one's thought the family like that to write a song, you
hmm
know. So can you explain to the people
yeah,
your song Cousin Margaret?
yeah. So cousin Margaret is
Hold
my
on, bro.
cousin.
Hold on. Remember, we
Yeah.
don't have cousin Margaret. We didn't
Oh,
get
No, that's okay. It's okay. I want him to explain it. It's about my
okay.
aunt.
Cool, cool.
yeah. So my mom passed away about 3 years ago, and like in the family, the person she was the closest to was Nika's aunt, cousin Margaret. She was my go-to person if anything would happen. You know how we all have, your parents raise
Hmm.
you, and there's always that person. Contact this person if something happens. And so cousin Margaret was pretty much most of my life that person. And when I moved out on my own and I moved to New York City to do my music, she reached out to me, and I got phone like I was in my apartment in West New York, New Jersey, and I got a phone call from cousin. Hey, Uzi, it's cousin Margaret. Da 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 da. I want to make sure everything's okay because my mom was in Africa at the time. I want to make sure everything's okay. Everything is cool. And so when she passed away, and then my mom passed away, all of those like emotions and thoughts came, and so therefore that's where that chorus comes from. I think you call me to be the light on the line. You call me to be a light to say that everything is alright and everything is so nice. Alright. So it's like that phone call is what the whole song is based around. So that's the name of that album is Gun Hill Projects, and I released it in 2023, and cousin Margaret is on that. And yeah, so and when I moved to Chelsea with my husband, and cousin Margaret lived 2 blocks up the street from me. And so I think my mom was like, "Oh, cousin, I don't know how it happened, but we connected." And I would walk down the street and see cousin Margaret. So it was just this kind of magical connection, and then she passed away unexpectedly, and yeah. So I felt really compelled, and on that album I have 3 songs about either family members, one about my mom, one about my mom's godmother, Miss Cofield, and then one about cousin Margaret. So that album, Gun Hill Projects, was pretty much an album inspired by my mom's passing. So that's where that cousin Margaret, comes in.
So, what is your favorite song off the Street Corner Creep album?
My favorite song is probably Street Racer One, but it could be Street Racer One or Intelligent King, or like I honestly like the whole. Can I curse?
Get say speak.
I said I like the whole damn thing. So like it's like it's very when you work to do an album, you really do kind of want it to sonically gel together as one unit, and like that's what you aspire to. And Street Corner Creep does that. So from the first song, Street Corner Creep, to, you know, help with the mastering engineer, you know, it became that album that just it really sonically works to as one, and it's supposed to be like a theme album. Almost like what like Prince, Purple Rain, or anything like that, or David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust. It's a theme album, so the songs Gun Hill Project Gun Hill Project is a theme album, but it's not as like it doesn't. It's got 12. I think it's got 10 songs on it, where Street Corner Creep has 7. And after I did like the 10 song album, I figured out like if you look at the great albums in history, they really only have about 7 songs on it. Like that, you can do an album if you get those 7 songs right, then you can hit every angle and make it really succinct, make it speak. You know what I mean? And
Okay,
that's
so quick
with
quick
Street
question.
Corner Creep.
You brought up the artist Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
Somebody I feel like people should know more about. I'm assuming that's one of your inspirations. Can you talk about Ziggy Stardust and how you got to know his music and how it influences your music?
Oh, David Bowie.
Yes.
So, well, I'll talk about like these 8-second songs. These 8-second songs, they have some Beatles inspiration in them. But like, if we talk about David Bowie, that whole like, and Parliament Funkadelic, that whole ability to put an album together and have themes, and have the songs be art, and have them, for me, it's more important to have something that is major, have something that like shines beyond the confines of what we think of as music today. Because music to me today is very limited. It's not all limited, but a lot of times it is limited. So like when I do a song, if I get an idea like that Street Racer one, that's from an idea. That's not from listening to anybody's song. You know what I mean? Even Street Corner Creep. Now, Street Corner Creep probably comes from being connected with rappers, like coming up, and I rapped, when I was growing up, so I can still rap, and it still comes through in some of my songs. But um, yeah, that whole ability to take something and make it great or whatever, and honestly, like I do get inspired from David Bowie, whatever, but I think of myself bigger than that. I get more inspired by going to like New Orleans and seeing the musicians out there. When I went to New Orleans the first time, that really, really left an impression on me that still comes through in my music today. So yeah, it's a lot. It's hard to confine it, but I just the important thing for me is if I get an idea to flesh out the idea all the way musically without considerations of genre or okay, this, that, and the other. I want to manifest my art completely without any kind of confines. Yeah.
Okay, we got the fire department ran by ambulance running. So, what made you think of I need to write a song called Intelligent King?
Oh, you know what? Because I live in Harlem, and if you go up the street, you're gonna see hats for sale that say King on them. And a lot of people wear hats that with King, and people say, "Hey, what's going on, King?" Da 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 da. So I observed that, and as an artist, you think about that kind of thing socially. You're like, what does it mean to be a king? What does it da 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 da? So with everything that's going on, I just wanted to, I guess, wanted to leave a positive impression of, you know, like the album's name is Street Corner Creek, so it's kind of like ignorant. So Intelligent King is the opposite of ignorant. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
and also it's just like Intelligent King kind of was inspired by Bob Marley, the way that he would structure certain songs, but I structured it in my way. So it has like it's my stuff, but there's a heavy Bob Marley impression because I've always been a big Bob Marley fan. So there's a heavy Bob Marley and Tracy Chapman kind of impression on that song. And Tracy Chapman and Bob Marley, they like to do like almost fables or what do you call those? Um, tales or whatever with morals.
Hmm.
Like there's a moral to the tale. So Intelligent King kind of has that. If things go wrong, you pick it up, you start again. If things go wrong, no matter how bad it gets, you just pick up and start again. And so that's the chorus going in Intelligent King. So yeah.
So we're gonna get into that song, Intelligent King. I want to hear it. So, any other projects after this one?
Well, I have two more. Well, I just let the cat out of bed. I didn't mean to do that. I have additional 8-second songs coming.
Oh,
And so they're cut like I have them spaced out to release, and then I have other actual songs like longer songs. So I'm sort of like, okay, well, how many of these 8-second songs do I do? But I have the full, you know, sort of conceptual thing of the eight, like so they're all done. Like these, you're getting the full picture. These are the first two. and then with the other ones you'll get the full picture of what it is. But yeah, just like I'm promoting an album, those the 8 second songs, and even really the album before that one too. So yeah, I got my slate is full.
Okay. That's good. You got more coming. So you'll get a whole kind of basically like almost a whole album of 8 second songs.
I'm not gonna do it on the album though. They're just gonna be singular songs that sort of represent an album together. But you're not gonna listen to one thing after the other because I think that it to me they're better by themselves as opposed to being on an album next to each other because that that might be like it's like what you know what I mean? It's I think it's better by itself as an experience, not necessarily on an album.
Okay, so you get 8 second singles.
Yep.
So we're gonna get into Intelligent King. That was Intelligent King. So I saved your newest one for last. 8. I saved that for last because after we listen to it and you explain it, I want you to tell the people about your genre that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people don't know about the genre you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna get into the last song, which is 8. It's an 8-second song, another 8-second song, y'all. So really put your ears to the speakers so you can hear it. But yeah, we're gonna get into that, and then he's gonna tell us about the genre he's in, because you are indie rock artist, but your sound, I I guess you could say industrial rock, since you say you use a lot of industrial sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But and a lot of people may not have never heard of industrial rock or the genre that you put yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
So
You want me to get into that now? Or you're gonna play it?
no, we're gonna play the song
Okay.
first, and then you can get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was 8. That's the latest
That's the second
single.
8-second single.
Yeah, the second one, the 8-second single. So tell the people about the genre you're in, so that people who don't know about it. You never know who may want to check it out.
Yeah. So I if you ask me what genre I'm in, I'm going to tell you no. I'm going to tell you noise rock because I use a lot of noise influences. It may be metallic drums. It may be distortion, erosion in the production. But I'm not noise like harsh noise. I'm not noise like the stuff you can't listen to. I'm like edgy, but I'm a singer songwriter. It's rock. It's got elements of funk. It's got elements of like what do you call that? Dixieland jazz kind of thing, or jazz, folk like that. Intelligent King. If you listen to Intelligent King, even though it's a folk song, those are all like metallic drums in the back. Or if you listen to, Street Racer One, those are all metallic. Everything, even like I just took what would be considered noise and I just laid it out differently. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's not like, because typically if you hear a noise artist, what you're gonna hear is like you're gonna hear noise sounds that make it difficult to listen to it. I don't want people like that. I'm not listening to music that's difficult to listen to. So, but I am creating art, and I am making music that's interesting, but at the same time has melodies, chord structures, like concepts that the song unfolds, you know, and songs that mean things. So that's so therefore yes, I would describe my music as noise rock, as industrial soul. Someone might also describe it as, um, but it really is just me as a musician. And if I go down to New Orleans and I listen to those musicians down there who are like my favorite musicians other than me. But if I listen to the musicians down in New Orleans, that that, like that inspired me so much that I feel that close connection to that kind of jazz. You know what I mean? And it does influence. Like if you listen to Intelligent King, how I repeat those choruses over, and I use that repetition, and then I throw a little bit in, and then I do, like, you could do different types of harmonies where the harmonies like hit in a certain kind of way, and they have certain timing. That's jazz. I mean, that's real jazz. What we get for most of us is what I call steakhouse jazz, which is, like elevator music. But if you listen to like real jazz, there's musical complexity, there's, a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling, and a lot of melody, and then even dissonance matched with the melody. So like, now we have second lines in Harlem. A second, like, if people don't know, a second line is what they do in New Orleans where someone passes away, and then, you know, uh, after the funeral, a jazz band follows the casket, and they start playing, a dirge, which is a slow, kind of a thing, and then they build up, and usually they start playing something like a spiritual song, like "When the Saints Come Marching In," or "I'll Fly Away." So all of that stuff, like, I took that in, and I had my own musicality before I went down there. But that to me, when I went to New Orleans, and I'm basking in the light of New Orleans right now, but I I for the first time saw an industry outside of the music industry. I saw, oh wow, these musicians are better than all the musicians in the music industry. And so it gave me a whole different insight, including like going to museums and paying attention to art outside of the music industry. But it just gave me this whole vision of, oh wow, I can create outside of the bounds of pop culture and still reflect pop culture, still participate and bring something different or new in, like these 8-second songs. So I think the big thing is to think, and then to be fearless. I'm fearless. Like I'm like, okay, I do the 8-second songs, and put my all into it, and and you have to be like that way, be like that as an artist. So yeah.
So for the music video spotlight, we're gonna play your video, "Eat the Rich." Explain to the concept of the video.
Okay, so with Eat the Rich, that also probably was inspired by the Luigi, the CEO guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's crazy because now my mind's all in the 8-second songs. So I have to go back to when I did Street Corner Creep, which Creep came out in April, so it didn't come out that long ago. But it very much. So if I go to the lyric came to me of um, "This money's made for you and me. This money's made for you and me. This money's made for you." So it was "This money's made for you and me," and that lyric just came to me. And I'm like, well, I'm writing a song called "Eat the Rich." How am I going to sing "This money's made for you and me"? But then I thought about it as, oh wow, it can be a thing of, instead of money being, or instead of resources being hoarded by the few, it's like, no, this money's made for you and me. And then when I go into essentially the chorus, however you would call it, whereas I want to be the one to make a difference. I want to be the one, to make a difference in this life. That came naturally, and also sort of reminded me of a lot of Northern soul from England. The
Mm-hmm.
popular black genre from uh, black people in England is called Northern Soul, and it just had that kind of vibe to it. And I was like, wow, this is very interesting, and it is emotional but edgy, and it speaks to the moment, and it speaks to greed. It speaks to this moment that we live in. Of, is it going to be for the masses, or are we going to give all our money to oligarchs? Are we going to give all our power to Donald Trump and his friends? So, that's where the eat the rich, you know, comes from. And we did the video because, we went down, we were looking for an alley. Now, the other video I have is for Street Racer 1, but Eat the Rich, I was like, okay, an alley. The alley had some video cameras in it and graffiti, and it completely fit the idea of what the music video needed to be, and it ended up just working really well.
Okay, so we're gonna get into that video. Eat the rich. I'm gonna share the screen so that people can see the. There we go.
This one's made for you and me. 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 This one's I was born to make. I think there's a streaming issue.
Yeah, bro. It started playing, then it stopped. It's kind of that problem we had last week. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's definitely a problem we had last week because roll is frozen. Yeah, we are here with indie rock artist Yuzima Phillip. We're working through some technical difficulties. Ro, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you hear
I can
me,
hear
Ro?
you.
Okay, Ro.
For some reason, when I do share screen, it's not sharing the daggone screen. So I don't know. That's where I got it from YouTube.
Yeah, that's from YouTube.
So after this segment, I do a segment called Dropping Gems where we give advice to aspiring artists. So I would love if you, when we get to that point, because we're going to get back into your video again, and I want you to share with the people a gem that they could take with them, so when they go on their music journey, they'll have something that will help them in the long run.
Well, I could do that now while he sets it up.
Oh, you could do it now.
Yeah. So the most important thing that you could do as an artist, the most, is believe. It sounds cliche, but believe in yourself as an artist. That's it. And you can look at me and see that I'm someone who obviously believes in myself. But that is the most thing, and that's the most important thing. And you know, as soon as you can get to the point where you don't need sort of like, it's not that you don't need it, but yeah, you don't need sort of, you know um like people to sort of reinforce what you do, or to um, um, praise you even, or like, you have to be the one as an artist to say this is it. And pretty much all great artists are able to do that. So if you look at, like, you say a Madonna, she's going to say this is what it is, because why? Because I know it is what it is. That is the most. I mean, yes, the talent. Okay, but once you have that part, that ability to kind of be able to reinforce yourself, and to sort of, um, you only need your own validation as an artist. That's the most powerful thing. other than that inspiration, because that's what being an artist is, inspiration. But that validation from yourself and not needing it from other people is what guides you through.
All right. I appreciate that gem
Yeah,
because that's one I haven't shared with the people.
yeah. Then that's also because I've been in it. I've been through different angles of the music industry, so I've met the folks, and and just as an artist, I've dealt a lot with writers, people who sort of shape culture or what have you, this, that, and the other, and just I know just as what we go through as artists, that moment that you get to where you don't need validation,
Right.
that's where your power is.
Yep. You don't need people's validation. If you feel you're a good artist, put out good music.
All right, bro. We ready with the video when you are.
All right,
Let's get into Eat the Rich.
eat the rich.
All right, here we go.
So we're doing the 8 second thing here with the other songs too.
Okay, now that didn't work out either. I got another way I could do it again, bro. Just talk it out. Let me work that out on this end.
Alrighty. So, you know, I love the gem you dropped because I haven't done that one yet. Come up with that one for the artists to believe in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because artists do go for record deals and they get told, well, you're not what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's discouraging to them. But that's why I tell them all the time, stay independent. Put the music out yourself. Stop depending on these labels because the music you put out for them, they keep it.
Yeah, yeah. This is my little one
So
right
just
here
think.
doing it, trying it. As my cat.
So so
Yeah, yeah. Like you know, it's tough with the music business because like they're see me, I'm an artist, so I would do this anyway. You know what I mean? So like I dealt with the label thing. I had a lawyer. I did the whole. I dealt with I dealt with labels where, and I'll give you my own tea. Like way back when I was still doing that, where you would deal with labels, and my thing was is that I would do a demo with the producer, take it to a label, and I had connections or whatever, and I was dealing with a particular label, and they were like, "Oh, we like it, but we need you to get a different producer." Okay, so I spent that money on that producer, and then I go get another producer. Oh, we like it, but get a different producer. Wait, hold up. Now, this was the kind of runaround that I was getting, and that runaround did not make sense to me. And at that point, I was like, well, I'm not really making exactly what I want to make as an artist. So I got my own recording equipment and then recorded my albums the way I wanted to record them. So that was the change where I actually just decided to be independent and not to deal with, if I bring it to you and you're like, oh, we want you to get a different producer. No. So, and there was a lot of other stories too. But, everybody has a different journey or whatever. And look at this. If to me, if I had gone with the label, I probably wouldn't be releasing 8-second songs right now. So there's something in the universe that I'm set out to do exactly what I do, and I'm adamant about it. And I think that's part of also the reason I don't gel in that industry, because I'm also you listen, you're not going to tell me, oh, Yuzima, you need to do this. Oh, no, I know exactly what I'm here to do, the type of music I should make, and that's what gets made. I'm the captain of the ship, and that's what being independent is. And you have to. Part of it is the universal law of karma. I mean, you have to say, what am I doing things for? What's my goal? What am I in this for? And then there are people who have records who they don't even like the records they put out. We know some people who are famous. Yeah, you're famous, but you don't like the music you put out. A lot of people, and even songs that maybe Tina Turner said. I think Tina Turner said she didn't like what love's got to do with it. I like what love's got to do with it, but she didn't like it. Now, obviously, she has a great career as a musician, but there were other people with the only song they have, like me. I think what I do is bigger than that, and it is. Like, and you think about it, you take away all of the trappings of in America, we're very hyper focused on fame, money. If you were to Google Aretha Franklin right now, the first thing that would come up is how much money is she worth? What's she worth? Who cares? Did anybody really care? But musicians, the way the masses look at musicians, sometimes it isn't enough just to be a musician, and so you have this sort of cycle of, okay, rappers, in order to get by, they got to sell a certain image that the public, like Sammy Davis Jr. did a whole interview saying that, people expected him to do, I'm, I'm going to keep it PG-13, but he said in the interview, people expected him to do hard drugs. And if him and Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin didn't do hard drugs, they wouldn't have had the people interested in them. So, that's something that follows music. But as an artist, I'm an artist. And I'm not about the BS of, yeah, no, I'm not going to give you, you know, I no, I'm not going to go be strung out so that you get this whole vision of like Amy Winehouse. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm an artist. I make music, and I love to make music. I'd make it like if when I yawn to the scale. Like music, I like it's corny, but I am music. It comes out of me. So no, and then yeah, that's really what it is to focus. And you see, really musicians who last the long term, no matter whether they're in the mainstream music industry or they are independent, they have that within themselves, that inner thing where they're not going for it from the other people.
Yeah, I I like the fact that you're independent, that you do your own thing, because there's a lot of artists out there who want to get out of the deals they're in right now, but they can't because they signed a contract to
Mm.
give the label a certain amount of albums. So
And didn't get any money.
they got money,
They
but they
got
didn't
like
get
three
a
thousand
lot of money.
dollars, 5,000. Like they like a lot of the people, and I know people. I know people who are like people who are well known in the rap industry. So I know like the contracts from the other side, and I know when they put out press releases saying this person, they used to do that all the time. This person got $1 million bonus. They got $3,000, and they got to live on that.
It's all about how you structure your deal. That's why you have to have the right people around you. You
Well,
can't go into a deal without having an entertainment lawyer who's going to be
yeah.
able to read that contract front to back to
Mm,
tell you what is good for you in that contract and to tell you what is bad for you in that contract.
yeah.
People go in there, they want a record deal so bad they sign away their life.
Yeah, but the
Like,
problem is though is that it's like feudalism. You just don't have you have to have bargaining power. And a lot of folks when you're going up against unless folks are knocking down your door, most people don't have that bargaining power to make those demands. People going to be like, oh, you know, here is this is and I'm not going to get too deep into like record deals or anything like that, but from my experience and from my life and doing what I've done, I see the reason why I'm on my road the way that I am. That maybe it might be glorious, I'm sorry, not glorious, but glamorous to whatever, but then I wouldn't be doing all of this great stuff. Like the real worth, the real value is it's karma. Karma is what you put out into the universe, and my karma is great music. It's innovative music, and that's what I'm getting back. Now, if you want to be a millionaire, a billionaire, that's a different thing, and that comes with a different, what have you. And as long as you can eat and have a roof, why would I do something that I don't want? There are people who they are millionaires. Look at these millionaires like Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, all of them going through all of those hoops to kiss Trump's feet. Did you become a billionaire to have to do that? They don't look happy to me. I'm not up there doing that. So who's the real billionaire? They don't? None of them look happy doing what they were doing, but I'm happy doing what I'm doing. So that's the lesson.
yeah. I just love for if you are truly into your craft to stay independent with it because the labels are owning the rights to your music and you don't get them back to after 35 years from now,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So if you were to pass away, yes, it goes to your family, but they still have to wait the 35 years in order to get the rights to your catalog.
mm and
And what if you
now.
don't have no
Hmm.
what if you have no siblings or no
Yeah,
family? You're just the
yeah,
only person.
yeah,
You pass away, who gets the rights to you? The label gets to keep it now, even after the 35 years, because there's no one to claim it.
yeah. Well, that's hey, and I'm gonna repeat it again. You look me up. I have like what 8, 9, 10 albums. There are some people like Rakim. How many albums does he have? One, two, three, four. Like
I think it's been maybe
there's
about four, maybe five.
5, 6. But and I don't know his life. Me personally, as an artist, I nothing stops me. You know what I mean?
Right. You
Like
can
I
put
like
music.
when I want to do when I'm inspired, like Street Corner Creek, the name that I want to give the album. Oh, my battery power is running there. But the name I want to give an album, the songs, you know, like there's not. I'm not saying there aren't any benefits to being with a label, or this, that, and the other, but the ability to concentrate and focus. I think that there are some artists that need that, but some artists would be distracted by that. I'm probably the artist that would be distracted by all of that. I have my focus and I have a greatness to what I do, and that's what comes across in the music. And, and if everybody thought like that, you might like you could kind of look at rap and see. That's why I think people get so caught up in how many numbers people do because the music isn't all that great. I hate to say it. It might sort of be a bop, but if you have time to sit around and obsess over numbers from a song, the song ain't that great. I know, like we could think of the. I'm not. I'm. Could you be loved by Bob Marley? I don't care how many songs streams that got. I'm not thinking about that when I'm listening to that song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not
So
thinking about that either.
yeah, because so what I'm saying is that we've sort of had this like race to the bottom when it comes to music. These low expectations, just as long as it fits within this narrow thing. And I'm not saying that people aren't releasing good songs, sorta. But people sort of their expectations have been lowered as to what songs should even sound like. You know what I mean? Or some songs they'll literally just cut and paste. Here's the first verse, cut paste that into the second verse. I don't do that. That guitar is played out through the song on Intelligent King, and you hear the soul, you hear the experience, you hear the natural thing of it that you're not going to get from just cutting and pasting, the different parts. Like pretty much, you can listen to people's songs and tell that they're cutting and pasting the whole song through. And also, one thing about me as an artist, I don't use metronomes. I stopped doing that about 3 albums ago. I don't use what have you like literally if I think in my mind something's holding me back as an artist, like using a metronome, the metronome is gone. If I think that what's the other thing, I did use, there's vocoder on this album, and the vocoder has some pitch correction on Street Corner Creep, but like I did auto tuning on like 4 albums, like my album Living Off the Land. The songs on that had my Insta albums that I did like what 9 years ago, or whatever. Those had like pitch correction on them, and sometimes I do it, but not a whole lot. So that's the thing. That's the great thing about being an artist. You really can pick and choose. Okay, this is what I'm going to do, and you don't need permission to do it. You just need the inspiration. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got
So
the album upload now. It's gonna be a few seconds. Man, it's good to know how to do certain things, but sometimes, especially on live, I apologize y'all for the struggle, but we
But
definitely
the
want
thing,
y'all
I
to see the
mean,
video.
like, I think people got the idea from the different songs, so that's what matters. You know what I mean? Because I am going to have to wrap it up because my iPhone's gonna is
Uh,
on low power
uh,
mode.
Understood. Can we finish up
under,
without you, bro?
Yeah, I
so
mean,
we,
like, yeah, we could wrap it up, and
so I appreciate you cuz for coming on. You the inaugural guest. You're the first guest to
mhm,
be on the show.
always cool. And
And was
this
an
is
awesome
we've
guest
done
too.
this before, Nika, but we haven't done it in video form. We've done it
Right,
audio.
radio form. Yeah. I appreciate you as always because you come through. You know, when I made that post, I saw your comment that you appreciated that I added you on the T-shirt. For
Oh yeah,
those who
yeah,
haven't seen
definitely.
the T-shirt, because you're not following me on my Facebook page, it's two T-shirts that I made from when I was doing radio. One says RTS, the other one says the Indie Experience, and it has Yuzima's name on one of the shirts. I can't remember which one, but
Okay.
it has his name on the shirt.
Okay, we got the video if you're ready.
All right, cool. But let me say
Yeah.
this to you, Nika. Like, I appreciate the fact that you are just like me, and we're both Scorpios. So I don't know, like,
We
are
do.
you a Scorpio too?
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
3 Scorpios in the house,
Nice.
and with a Scorpio, we don't let up on things. Like we
No.
we
That's
and
why I
so
was getting this video on here some kind of way.
we don't let up on things. So I appreciate that about you, Nika, that you like that you're someone who loves music, and that's
Yes.
because you're a musician too. And we probably could use more musicians who talk about music, who who write about music, who because you're not frankly a groupie. You're not you, and I hate to use that term, but there's some folks out here that are just like groupies, and it's very shallow how they deal with music. You're a real one, and I appreciate that
Yeah,
about you.
I will even go as far to say, Nika, that you are actually a creative because
Yeah.
you're not just about music. You like creating things, much like myself. That's why we gel so well together.
Mhm. Cool, cool.
Yep.
I have to meet you formally because we haven't met. This is our first
So
time meeting, like in
so
this.
Zima, this is the producer of the show, Ebuck.
Hey, Ebuck, how's it going,
Hey,
man?
what's going on, guy? I said we
We did it
appreciate.
in reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my thing is indie artists need love too.
Hmm.
We listen to the radio, all we hear is signed artists. A
Hmm.
lot of them are not all that good, but because that
Payola.
song it gets played every day, on the hour, every hour by different DJs on the station. But
Hmm.
you don't hear now one indie artist unless they have a big fan base. Radio stations want to play them. So we need outlets like this, and when I had the radio station, to give them the airplay they deserve because they sound better than the ones we listen to on the radio.
Yeah.
And they're not getting the just due they deserve. So just like I created the radio station to do that, I'm creating this podcast to do that as well. So whenever you got new music, I will put it in the playlist and people will get to hear your new music and then check it out on my YouTube page. There's
Hmm.
always a playlist with all the songs that are featured on the show.
And don't
So
forget, we'll get Nighthawk Network Radio back up shortly, so it'll be that option as well.
I'll be getting back on the radio and they still get to hear your music.
Cool.
I
I
love all
appreciate that.
genres of music. You may not hear me play all genres of music, but when you do hear me play genres, I play my cousin's music. When you hear me play rock, I play my cousin's music. I don't come across a lot of rock artists, so that's why I haven't done a show where I'm just playing just rock music because I haven't come across a lot of independent rock artists. So I said, you know what? Instead of doing the show where I'm just playing Pacific rock artist music, interview my cousin, play his music. Y'all get familiar with his music and go stream it on Spotify, wherever he got it. Digitally down.
Go to Apple. Go to Apple Music, y'all.
So go to Apple so he can hit the charts.
Go
Whatever
to
the
Apple
Absolutely.
Music.
Apple, he can hit that.
All right. And again, y'all, this has been Uzima Phillip. Again, thank you, brother, for coming on the
Thank
show.
you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you,
it. Nice
Ebuck.
meeting you. I'm definitely going to check out some of your music because I definitely like a lot of what I heard this evening. So
Thank
I
you.
will definitely be checking out. And again, y'all, this is the video. Sorry for the late, but this is Eat the Rich by artist Uzima Phillip.
All right, Nika.
All right. Peace, guys.
This one's made for you and me. This one is 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 made for you and me. I want life, in this life, I wanna be the one to make a difference in this life, in this life. I wanna be the one to make a difference in this life, in this life. This money's made for you and me. 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 This money's made. This money's made for you and me. 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 I want to be the one to make a difference in this life. It's the reason why I come back the world. It's made for you and me. This money's made for you and me. In this life, in this life, in this life, I want to be the one to make a difference in this life.
That was Eat the Rich by Yuzima Philip. You can check that out on YouTube on his page. He spells his name YUZIMAPHILIP. You can check all his music and stuff on his page. Subscribe, like and subscribe. Now you know we come to it's that time to end the show because Yuzima dropped a gem for us, which was to the artists out there that believe in yourself. You want to be in this business, you gotta believe in yourself. You know, you feel you got talent and you feel that people need to hear your talent, go ahead, bring it to the world. Don't let somebody at a record label tell you, if they say to you, well, you're not what we're looking for, then that's a sign right there to tell you to do it yourself. I understand the cost. I understand studio time to rent a studio, it costs. This is what we have 9 to 5s for. To stack up our money so when we need to hit the studio, we can hit the studio, make these records, put them out for the people. Because when you're doing it yourself and it's good quality music, labels are going to come knocking at your door. Look at the girl who just got a $3 million deal off of her creating her music through AI. An AI artist got a $3 million deal. So you cannot tell me you can't do it. You know, if you decide to go with a label, make sure you read the contract inside and out. Make sure you have a lawyer with you, an entertainment lawyer. Don't get no regular lawyer. You get an entertainment lawyer to read through your contract to tell you the good and the bad of your contract so that you can negotiate what you want. And if the label says, "Oh, we got 100,000 for you in an advance," do not take the advance. Listen to me clearly. Do not take the advance when, even if it's an independent label, major label, do not take the advance they offering you because you have to pay that back. So if you take the 100,000 advance and your album don't sell, don't make the money, how you paying back that $100,000? If the album you just put out on that label don't make them no money, how are you paying back that $100,000 advance? You won't be able to. You would have to get a second or third or fourth 9 to 5 to make sure you pay the label back the money they gave you as an advance. And if you decide that you really need the money and you take the advance, don't spend it. Hold on to it. Don't spend it. Hold on to it. Get a separate account from the accounts you already have and let it sit in the account. Don't touch it so that, like I said, if you put out music, it don't do well, you're not making the money, and they want their money back. That money's been sitting there collecting interest that you can give them back their money and keep what the interest is off of that money. You give them back their 100,000, and whatever it generated as interest, that's yours to keep. So at least you leave with something. And in this business, you have to wait 35 years to get the rights back to your own music that you created without the label's help. Or if the label did help you, you you gotta make sure that your name is on there as songwriter if you write your own music. If you produce your own music and you use songs you produce, make sure your name is on there and they're not slapping nobody else's name on there and they're taking credit for your work. Because I came across a TikToker who's an artist as well as a producer. Him and a friend created a song that became very popular by a female R&B artist, and they never got credit for that song. A popular female R&B, and she ain't the one that took the song, and she's not the one that took the song, put her name on it, and took credit for it. Her producer is, I'm gonna say, the artist. Normally, you don't want to give up who the artist is. You want people to go and search and look, but this artist is LMA. LMA, when she came out with her first album, she had a song on there called "Trippin'," and that song was produced by another artist who's also a producer and another producer. They produced that song together. The other producer went to the label with the song because they were trying to sell the song, trying to sell the song. And when you submit to a label, you're not the only one submitting, so they get a pile of music every day from artists submitting to trying to get signed. And then they go through that pile and they pick out what they like and they throw away what they don't like. And what happened is that song came across their desk. They might have acted like to the producers and that did the song, like they didn't like it, but they liked it and gave it to LMA. And guess who slaps their name on it? DJ Mustard slapped his name on it. I think he slapped his name on it as the producer. Right? So just think about that. That if you produce, you write, that the label could slap a well-known producer's name on your work to get it to go. What I mean by go, meaning because DJ Mustard's name is on it, people are going to take a listen, right? If they got a name of a producer they never heard about, they people might not listen. So they putting a name on it that people know, and they're gonna take a listen. Like, oh, DJ Mustard produced this. I like this song. I like this, but he didn't. But he got the credit for it. Yeah, they can go, they can sue, but you gotta have proof that it's your your work. You gotta prove to a judge it's your work. He could prove it. He has the stems. He has the stems. He could prove it. He has the stems. But that is my dropping gem. Well, my rant. I wouldn't call it a dropping gem. I call it a rant for y'all in this music business. And we gonna call it a night. See you next Tuesday with another episode of the Indie Experience podcast. Never know, we may have another special guest. You never know. But just know it's going to be a great show. Appreciate you for always rocking with your girl. Keep rocking with your girl in the Nighthawk Network and the Road to Stardom TV network. Because we're going to keep giving y'all great programming as always. So I'm gonna say peace, one love. I appreciate you. Ebook. Till next time. Let's give them the vibes.